Hello guys, welcome back to BoreDraw, episode number 72 of your favourite podcast. And we are back after a little week hiatus. I had a little bit of the vid. It weren't great. It was international break though, so who cares?
Yeah, you aligned it quite well because international break stunk.
Yeah, oh my god, it was stinky.
We
could do a whole video about that, but luckily we are not going to bore you with that. We had an exciting weekend. The Barclays has delivered once again.
Pure Barclays is back, baby.
Mate, just rename it again. Rename it to Barclays.
Name it the BoreDraw Premier League.
But yeah, obviously we're going to be talking about a little bit about Man City, Liverpool. We've got Newcastle, Chelsea on the agenda, and then a couple of little things, maybe a little highlight of one Alejandro Garnacho's fantastic finish on Sunday afternoon. Before we kick it off though, if you do want to get involved in the last days of our Movember
look at the
campaign,
tashes, mate. They're coming crazy.
Good. They're looking good. I'm very proud of us. We've raised nearly £400 already, so we would like to make it above that 500 threshold. So if you haven't donated yet and you'd like to, all the links you need will be down below. And yeah, but let's kick it off anyway. The Premier game this weekend was City versus Liverpool at the Etihad. Did it deliver?
Nah, it was a boring game in my opinion.
This was, for me, I was literally thinking about this on here. The last, however many, 4 or 5 seasons, even last year when Liverpool stunk, this is the game that I look at.
Yeah,
I think,
pure quality.
Oh, mate. And there were 3 or 4 seasons where this game would look like it was in a different league to every other game in the Premier League. And the levels were just there. But it was dry. Man City looked like a shadow of themselves. Yeah. Liverpool, I think we know their reasons. Their midfield is not it at the minute. Like, Wataru Endo's not the guy. They don't have a holding midfielder.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just a case of there's so many new players in both these teams that like the quality that we were accustomed to in the last, like you were saying, 4 or 5 years of this game.
I mean, Man City
a lot of the players are different now.
I mean, Man City had no Kevin De Bruyne.
No De Bruyne.
Liverpool had no Henderson this year. Yeah. Players of like that level.
John Stones wasn't playing.
Well, that's it. And
Salah wasn't playing. Nah, Salah was ghosting this game.
No Robertson. He got an assist. No Robertson.
Yeah, no Robbo.
Alisson had a bit of a stinker.
Alisson had a world-class stinker.
We never say that as well. No. We give him his plaudits because I think he's the best keeper in the world. But
yeah,
it was interesting. Do you want to take us through your thoughts? Haaland hitting 50 Premier League goals in
48 games. Yeah, that is nuts. I will touch on Haaland because I want to talk about the strikers in a bit. But I think, let's talk about the game in its whole. Man City, I think, evidently the better team. I saw a lot of people saying that like this is the biggest the two teams have been like the gap between the two teams has been in terms of quality.
Is that before the game
and after? In my opinion,
brother, the game finished 1-1.
Yeah, I know.
At the Etihad.
That's the Man City problem.
The citizens were getting shushed by Trent Alexander-Arnold after he apparently got cooked all game, which is another discussion we'll have.
Well, we'll have that. Do you see Pep was saying to the City fans that they were too quiet?
He's the one that runs that narrative.
It's mental.
Funny, but City fans get so riled about that narrative.
And he's the one.
It's your manager that's pushing it, man.
I love it as well because they can't even beef Pep because
he'll fuck him off.
Yeah, he'll fuck him off about the League One thing.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, I'm more likely to be here and when we're in League One than us winning the Champions League again."
No, you won't.
Brother, have you heard of Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, I was going to say, not a chance.
You're like FFP.
Yeah, have you heard of England manager? But nah. Yeah, in my opinion, there was a gulf in quality. If Man City were playing a 6 or a 7 out of 10, they would have won this game. But they were actually, in my opinion, very poor. One of the worst games I've seen from them this season. They were dominant all over the pitch, but in the final third, just created nothing, really. One player that I want to talk about, though, is Bernardo Silva, who I think is just an absolute world beater.
Yeah, we have him as our top Premier League midfielder.
If you follow us on Twitter, gems are being dropped.
I mean, we are spitting. We are spitting. That was a unanimous decision.
That was. We smashed that. We're not very good at tier lists. Sometimes we do some funky choices.
This is a man who, before the season, was linked with PSG, with Saudi Arabia, even Barcelona, I think. I think he's got a Barcelona clause in his contract. How grateful are they to have him still? Because he's
so good.
Is he the best Premier League midfielder?
Best Premier League midfielder, in my opinion. He's
most consistent.
Is he the best Silva that Man City have ever had?
Oh, he's not as good as David Silva, I don't think.
Oh, I think he's better.
I
think his versatility is just crazy. You can play him on either wing. You can play him as the number 10, as the 8. You can play him as the deep lying 6 if you want, and he can do a job there. He's just so good. He'll always drop. They fucking played him at left back. When was it? Last season or whatever.
Who wins? Yeah, if you have this Man City team that started against Liverpool, or the Man City team like of Aguero, Silva, Torre, Company. I don't know.
Oh, I'll hit you with some 1v1s then. Aguero or Haaland?
Aguero.
Mad. I think I'll go Haaland. Bernardo Silva or David Silva?
David Silva.
I'll go Bernardo Silva. Rodri or Yaya Toure?
Yaya.
Yeah, I think I'd probably go Yaya. John Stones or Vincent Kompany?
Stones.
I'd go Stones. They're the only ones that I can think of. Good luck.
Edison versus Hart. Probably Edison.
Edison every single day.
Mika Richards versus Kyle Walker.
Jeez, big Meeks.
Yeah.
Nah.
He could have getting over Zab.
But no, yeah, I agree. I think City, they're lucky that they've had generational quality for like a decade.
That's what you get when you're funded by a state.
Yeah, it's tapped. But yeah, I don't know. What I noticed in this game though is that just like Liverpool, all they had was like transitional moments. They just where City would lose the ball in the final third, and then they just kind of go long to Salah or go long to Darwin Nunez.
But that's what Liverpool done against City every time they played them.
But like better though.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, they were better when they had Mane, Salah, Firmino, or they had Robertson and Trent in their best form of their life. They had a prime Van Dijk.
Yeah.
They had an actual midfield of players. They had Fabinho. They could play this transitional football. They have nothing at the minute.
No, in
like
the midfield,
they need 30 chances to score like 2 goals.
Yeah. I liked McAllister. I thought he had a decent game for someone that I've kind of slated a little bit as like he is not good enough to play that kind of holding midfielder role. He had quite a good little game.
But he's still not the solution.
He's just still not aggressive enough. He doesn't win enough duels, doesn't do enough for me.
But he's not a DM.
No.
I don't think he was brought in to be a DM. He very last minute got shifted there.
Yeah.
I don't see the mindset behind it. Obviously, I'm never going to question Jurgen Klopp because one of us is sitting here making a football podcast and one of us has won the Champions League and the Prem. But I know more.
It do be like that. What I'm kind of... My issue is with Liverpool is that everyone says, oh, they're just a DM away from competing. I think it's more than that. I think they're a DM away. I think they're another centre midfielder away. I think they're a right back away. I think they're probably a left back away now. I think, for me, there's a lot that still needs to happen for this Liverpool team to get challenging for the title. And this could be me just being a bit reactionary. It's not, though, because they fucking drew 1-1, so it's actually a good result. But I think
I mean, what are they? They're 1 point behind Arsenal, who sit top of the table.
2 points behind Arsenal.
Oh, 2 points, yeah, sorry. You were 1 point behind them going into your game. 2 points behind Arsenal, sitting at top of the table, joint points with Man City. Yeah. After they got done really dirty at Spurs, where if they got the win on that game, they would be top of the league.
That's true.
So, I mean, you're saying that they're not playing their best. This isn't the best Liverpool team, but they're not far off the top of the table.
And that is something that I was gassing up Arsenal about this morning to one of my co-workers. I was like, it's good. Like, the narrative around Arsenal at the moment is that we're not playing that well, but we're at the top of the league.
Yeah.
So the same could be said for Liverpool.
But like, does that just go to show how like maybe all the top teams in the Premier League are underperforming?
I was going to say the league's fallen off a bit.
Oh, maybe. Mate, honestly, you go back to where you had Liverpool and City dropping 100+ pointers nearly every season, and you had like Man United or like Chelsea or Tottenham was finishing on like 80+ points and like finishing third.
Yeah,
it's nuts. I mean, but now I think, probably to the benefit of the actual competitiveness of the Premier League itself as like an institution, is probably a good thing. But the standard, and I think the Premier League isn't the big hitter that it was in Europe probably last season or a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, I think the gap closing between the big six and the like top 10. Maybe that's getting a bit tighter, but then the gap between that top 10 and the bottom 10 is getting bigger. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, but we're seeing like Wolves, who were finishing in the top 10 every season, fell off last season, fell off this season a little bit. They're not doing too bad on Gary O'Neill, but like they were still titled for relegation. You're seeing teams like Leicester do the full 180, man. They switched the whole league. Oh.
Can't wait for that to be Chelsea and City.
Yeah, man. Chelsea, do you imagine, like Football Manager Man City League One.
Yeah, I'll be tapped.
Be mad.
But like, can you imagine how many like fucking notifications you get about like FFP have fucked us? Blah, blah, blah. Like, you must get so many like.
Mate, Everton.
Yeah, we'll talk about Everton Man United after this, but I just want to touch before we finish this game on Trent Alexander-Arnold.
I think he had a good game.
I think he had a stinker. Which is nice, because I think the general consensus on Twitter is 50-50.
The narrative that he was getting cooked by Doku, though.
I think he was, but then he got to a stage where he just refused to do any defending at all, and he just let Matip do it all. Like, I think from genuinely about half an hour in, Trent just decided, I'm not playing right back anymore. And maybe that is the role, but Matip was just getting dragged down the right-hand channel constantly. And if Doku had a final product this game, if his final pass was on point,
I brought him into my fantasy because I was like, he's up against Trent, he's going to cook
him.
The main thing getting thrown about on Twitter was his dribble pass statistic. I think he got dribble pass, what was it, 7 times or something?
Yeah, sure.
But I looked at all of them, and like, he's nowhere near him for like half of them.
Yeah.
Like the most times a player's been dribble past in the Premier League. I don't know. For me, he's a bit of a problem at the minute. And
I think he's a big problem.
Defensively, we've been trying to defend for a while. It's just, you got to hold your hands up. He's had time to prove it. He's not a good defender.
He's so bad at defending. I think England and Liverpool have just got to either bite the bullet. I see a lot of people say, oh, you've got to keep playing him at right back because that is where... Like,
he offers you, he's like a 10 playing a right back. But then you have to have a solution where you've got a right centre mid or DM or a right centre back who's willing and knows how to cover him. And if he leaves that space, your whole defensive line's got to shift.
Yeah.
Your whole team's got to play to him, which is fine.
Yeah.
If you want to have a number 10 playing a right back, he's got a passing range that will unlock every defence.
Yeah.
He's nuts. He's a playmaker in the right back position, which is great. But you've got to adapt. You've got to do something. You got to do what they did when they had Henderson playing.
Yeah.
They would almost lose a midfielder. But Liverpool, we spoke about this multiple times. They play such transitionary football that half the time they skip the midfield. The main goal is to arrive late at the edge of the box. The midfield aren't the ones playing the long balls to Salah or to Luis Diaz or to Jota or looking for that through ball to Nunez. It's the left backs. It's the centre backs. It's all it has been. Maybe to an extent it was like Fabinho. But the two in front of him would never get involved. So for me, you've got to find a way to get Trent playing his football again if you want to be at Liverpool. You've got to just maybe lose one of your midfielders.
Yeah. Maybe
only play Szoboszlai, have McAllister coming off the bench, and then have that DM. And then maybe you have Trent as like a floating right with another centre back.
I agree. I think one of two things got to happen. They've got Joe Gomez there, who plays right back. He plays centre back. Why don't you do what Arsenal do when Zinchenko's in the team? Play 3 centre backs and Trent, and just play a back 3 that allows Trent to tuck in. Because this kind of asking Matip to do 2 roles he's getting cooked. And like I said, if
it's not fair on Matip though.
Not fair on Matip. I actually thought Matip had a really good game. And yeah, it's just like you're relying on the attacker of the opposing team to have a bit of a stinker because you're giving them so many opportunities to put balls in the box.
And the problem is he's been found out now, so he's going to keep getting found out for like his own protection.
Teams are targeting him.
You can use that against them. Like if you double up on that side and you give Trent the freedom, a right-hand side of freedom with Trent and Salah is going to be ridiculous. You'll be giving teams nightmares. But you've got to balance it out because you can't have Trent. You can't be giving him this freedom on the right-hand side and then have no one on the far side of the pitch making space, pulling the team apart to create the spaces.
Yeah.
You can't have this compact middle. And that's what they were trying to do with like McAllister and Szoboszlai and whoever they have behind it, whether it be Endo or Gravenberch or...
They had Curtis Jones in this
Curtis
game.
Jones.
It's like,
it's just, mate, what? It's like it's like a career mode team that like my 10-year-old cousin would play with.
They've just got no kind of like midfield bank. It's just 3 guys that are all kind of roaming 8, like position 8 and forward. It's like no one that's deep enough.
For me, they've just got to go big January and just get at least a world-class DM in.
The only one I'm hearing is Calvin Phillips. I haven't even heard of anyone else.
Mate, that's not even world-class.
No.
That's like B tier.
No.
I mean, and he's not the answer either.
Liverpool fans, let us know. Do you sign a centre-back that allows Trent to move into the middle? Or do you sign a DM that allows Trent to move in and that DM will cover. Let us know. Have you got any names? Because we've got none.
Right.
What game do you want to talk about next?
Let's talk about Newcastle-Chelsea.
Newcastle 4, Chelsea 1.
I saw this Chelsea fan TV. This little person.
Luke hates when women talk about football.
No. It wasn't. Not the one I sent you.
Yeah,
not the 20 goal a month one. No, that was a different one. This person sounded outside a little kid saying about how Newcastle, Chelsea got to be given time because they're a young team. Brother, you spent £1 billion. What do you mean a young team? Your most consistent player in the last 2 seasons has been 38-year-old Thiago Silva.
And if I was creating a Venn diagram of teams that are allowed time and clubs, Chelsea would never overlap. They are the definition of not giving anyone time.
Mate, they brought in bloody what's the owner called?
Todd Bowley.
Todd Bowley came in and they were like, it's a whole new way of looking at things. We're a project now. We're a project.
Bosch took out the window.
Bought in Graham Potter, project manager. Bosch got rid of him. Short-term fix. Frank Lampard got rid of him before he even do anything. Like,
the owners don't want it. The fans have no patience. The players are toxic.
But it's an excuse when they lose. Oh, we're a young team.
Yeah.
And then they were saying, when we beat Newcastle in the FA Cup final in like 4 or 5 years' time, they'll be crying and they'll probably won't even fill out their allocation. I was thinking, mate, they've got like one of the best fan bases in the world. Are you nuts?
Yeah, like one team is drastically on the up.
10 years of football knowledge, you just go. Like, you're done. It just go to pick up a different sport. I don't know. It's mental. But yeah, I don't know. Newcastle just good.
Newcastle are
Isak is good.
With a highly rotated team. They've got so many injuries at the moment, Newcastle. And I know Chelsea.
But this is what we were saying
as well.
This is what Eddie Howe's so good at. Players who are on the fringes will put their heart on that pitch and die for that club.
Yeah.
Because they know if they put in a performance, he will give them more opportunity.
Yeah.
They might get their Champions League appearance. They might get a run in the team. We've seen it happen.
Yeah, facts.
And like he will utilise every aspect of that squad. A lot of players will, their manager, like for a different club, they'll stick with their favourite players. And then as soon as they get an injury, right, you're in for a couple of games, then you're out again, no matter how you perform. Unless you put on 5 worldies in a row. So for me,
he is a very good manager, Eddie Howe, and like you can tell because there's players like Jamal Lascelles who is the club captain, but has been got rid of because better players have come in. Sven Botman injured, he's come back in, and Jamal Lascelles looks quality the last couple of games.
He captained him in the Champions League.
Captain in Champions League, put in like a man of the match performance against Arsenal, scored against Chelsea. He's back in the team and playing well.
You've got like Sean Longstaff,
he's out, but then you got that Lewis Miley coming in, 17 years old, looks quality. Dan Burns injured, so you got Tino Livramento coming in, looks quality. So yeah, they're just the man management of the squad is very, very good. You've got players that, like you said, put their heart on the line for this team.
You've got Anthony Gordon, who was getting slated
by us.
Yeah, mate, we were slating him. I had no idea how he managed to wrangle that move from Everton. But then he went to Newcastle and stunk it up for a bit.
So bloody
and
good.
we were like, oh, we're being vindicated here.
Yeah, he came in with dodgy
and he's turned us all over. Yeah. And I'm happy to say it because fair play to him. Ellen Generous looking guy is putting balls in the back of the net.
Yeah, Claire Balding looking motherfucker.
Mate, he's a good player.
No, he is a good player. I was watching this Chelsea game with my brother who supports Chelsea, and Sterling had just scored that free kick. Absolute banger.
Also, Sterling for England.
Yeah, and so my brother was like, why Sterling not in the England squad? And I was like, yeah, I back it. With Rashford stinking up the gaff and Jack Grealish barely getting a touch for City, is Sterling our best left wing option for England? And then, just as I was saying that, all right wing, but no, because Baby Bukayo is there for the long run. And then, just as I was saying, I'm up for Sterling, I looked at Anthony Gordon and I was like, nah, fuck that. Anthony Gordon is our best left wing option.
Gordo.
And then he went and scored an absolute banger. And so I think we need to have a discussion. I've seen Scotland FA are looking at Anthony Gordon, trying to win him round. Would we be silly to lose Anthony Gordon to Scotland?
I think you're silly to lose anyone. I mean, it's like we're the worst for it. We've like nicked like Declan Rice and Jack Grealish and countless others.
They can have Jack Grealish back if they're
not. But I mean, we're trading for Evan Ferguson. But we spoke about 2 good players in Anthony Gordon and Raheem Sterling. Let's move on to one absolute terrible player. and I hate to say it, but it's Reece James.
Oh, I love it because, to be fair, I feel like we've kind of toed and froed and kind of sat on the fence a little bit about Reece James for a while. Like, he is a more complete package than Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I've said this on Twitter, that what Trent has going for him is his attacking creativity. But that's not so much better than Reece James is, that you can ignore Trent's deficiency defensively, which Reece James is better at.
Reece James is way more all-round than
Exactly.
Trent.
So
I would rather have prime Reece James than prime Trent.
I would. But the more I look into it, I think I would just rather go like
Ben White
or Walker, because
Mate,
both of them
I'd have
bring up too
Trippier,
many problems.
Walker, Ben White,
And me.
let's go. Mate, I'd have like,
Tino Livramento.
oh mate, I actually would.
Yeah.
Genuinely,
I think both of them, Reece James and Trent, and maybe we need to do a Reece James
mate,
and Trent expose.
if you're in the England squad, yeah, that gets selected for the Euros, a 24-man squad or a 26-man squad, and you see Reece James in there, and you're a right back, you're thinking, oh mate, I better back my bag because
I'm
he's gonna
gonna
get injured the
cooked,
first training session, and you'll be straight on the plane. Like,
Yeah.
it's nuts.
I think both of them
it's
just
sad.
bring up too many issues, and they're not solving enough issues. With Trent, it's the defensive issues. It's where do you play him? Do you ditch one of the midfielders to bring Trent in, or do you have to bring an extra defender to cover his area? Reece James, you've got the injury problems, and just the fact that I don't think he's played enough for England. He's not consistent enough at club or country level. And so I think they both bring up too many problems when you've got the likes of Kyle Walker doing it week in, week out, Trippier doing it week in, week out, Champions League, Ben White doing it week in, week out, Champions League. I think those two guys aren't good enough. Don't do it enough for me. And why the hell, and I've said this on the pod, why the hell is Reece James captain in Chelsea? He averages like 20 games a season.
It is nuts at his big age and how good he was that he's literally played about 100 Premier League games.
He's just not consistent enough in appearances or like just dropping good games.
Like, considering he's like, and he probably would be considered a generational like talent, but he's got like 16 England caps.
Mate, generational talents happen all the time and get injured in their careers, go down the Swanee. Jack Wilshere. And
Yeah.
it's one of those. It's like,
Sometimes you just don't recover.
if
from
you
these
can't beat
injuries,
an
right?
injury, if you can't beat an injury record,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you can't be in the conversation. And that's the issue with Reece James.
I mean, yeah.
And when he's not getting injured, he's getting red carded. What's that about?
Yeah,
Donut.
I don't know.
Donut, bled.
It's a bit shocking. Do you, we want to talk about that Thiago Silva half turn that he tried to do?
So bad.
Mate, you're a bit old for that.
So bad, yeah, mate. We do not have the facilities.
Man's got like dementia for his Ronaldinho for a minute.
And he can't even play it off like he wasn't trying to like scoop it as well. It was such like a, what are you doing?
Just ended up on his arse. Man.
So funny.
Oh man, I don't know. Let's talk about
Spurs. Let's do it.
yeah, mate. I watched the beginning of this game. Electric.
Yeah.
And I was very
End
impressed
to
by
end.
Spurs.
Spurs were good. They were a better
Bentancur,
team.
Lo Celso looking really tasty in that middle. Lo Celso made his first start since it was.
I saw the
It was under.
Nuno Espirito Santo.
That's
That's,
the Donny,
mental,
yep.
isn't it? They've had like 2 managers in between that.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. He's played for Unai Emery more recently than he's played for Spurs.
That's nuts.
Isn't that tap?
Yeah, and I thought he was good. Udogie was getting well involved early on. A little bit rash in some of his challenges he makes.
He is a little bit rash.
Um,
But yeah, I'd say Spurs were the better team this game.
Kulusevski was looking dangerous.
Yeah, I liked Brennan Johnson. Looks good.
Son had 3 goals ruled out for offside.
He was just living offside
That's
though.
nuts.
Like it gets to the stage where it's like, mate, you can't even complain. Just get yourself onside.
Yeah.
Why are you just
Ollie Watkins
consistently-
managed to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Ollie Watkins is so good. But 3 losses on the bounce for Spurs.
It's rough.
Is there a situation going on?
For me, the big loss is Mickey van der Ven. I think the creativity's still there even without Maddison. They will score goals.
Yeah. The way they play just is so conducive.
But Van der Ven was so good.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a miss.
It's mental that they've gone from Romero, who I'm like impartial on,
But
and
he's still their
Van der
second best
Ven,
defender.
to they like skipped Eric Dyer. They've just
put Emerson Royale
They're
there.
playing Emerson Royale and Ben Davis, 2 fullbacks at centre backs over
Pedro
Dyer.
Porro was good.
Yeah, Pedro Porro was good.
Yeah, I think for me,
But it's just like, what is going? Yeah,
You can't. You're not going to win a game with 2 centre backs that aren't centre backs.
no. And they got Man City up next. The only perk is I think Romero and Basuma, who are both on suspension, to back next
Yeah,
game.
Basuma was a big miss as well.
So that could help, but it's a big game against City.
They have gone from high flying and they've lost their best player, Maddison, who is not just pivotal. He is their
Mr.
output.
Spurs, yeah.
They've lost their
Best defender.
their best defender in Van der Ven, and then their second best defender in Romero.
Yeah.
And then an absolute starler in Basuma, who's just absolutely come to his powers this season.
Yeah.
So that is probably their four best players, and
Yeah, the 4 players you would not want to get injured. Like,
I'd rather lose Son before I'd probably rather
of
lose Van der Ven, Maddison, or Basuma.
yeah, 100%.
So yeah, for me, you can't look into it too much. They'll be disappointed, but the performance was good. Which
I
is
agree.
important. The
Yeah.
performance was good. And then the previous game before this was Wolves, right?
Wolves, where they lost in the last minute.
Yeah. So on paper it looks bad, but I think they will recover. We
Just
said this.
Stick by Big Ange.
We said this when it was all going so well. A little bit of a wobble. It's about how you deal with it and how you come over it. So the next few weeks, Man City is the one where you can really put down a precedent and say,
Oh, that could be nuts. Yeah.
this is when we turn it back around.
Mate, if I'm not going to back Spurs, and I don't want Spurs to win, but if they do, that's good for Arsenal.
So yeah, I mean, but Aston Villa, Matty Cash, by the way, that tackle on Bentancur was nuts.
I saw people saying it should be a red card. It wasn't a red card.
I think
though.
I watched it and I was like,
not
that's a
that
red
bad.
card.
Nah.
But then I realised I was just saying that because I kind of like Bentancur,
Yeah.
and I know
He's
he's just come back from.
an
So
ACL.
but yeah, that can't play a factor. So for
No.
me, it's not red card. Yellow was right, but it is a rash challenge. If he's a second later on that, that's a red.
It is a very rash challenge, and I think everybody's just like a bit emotional about Bentancur coming
But
back
there was
from
a
the
lot of
ACL.
people celebrating it, being like, "Oh, Matty Cash is like smashed into Bentancur, do his ACL again."
Oh,
I was thinking, like,
football fans are grim.
you are scum, mate.
Yeah, football fans are grim.
Like, honestly, lock these man up because they're gonna do some disgusting things in their life if they're celebrating shit
Yeah,
like
no.
that. That's terrible. But
No, it is sad for Bentancur, just as he was getting back fit. But
yeah, what was the overview on that? They know what it is?
no idea. No.
Because yeah, hopefully it's nothing long term or serious. But that's another big loss because midfield two of Bentancur and
Basuma is nice.
Basuma's good. I
Yeah.
mean, Lo Celso looked alright when he came in. Good
I
goal.
agree, yeah, he's like, in my opinion, he is a good player. I just don't know why he hasn't like.
I think he one of those players that he didn't know his best role
Yeah.
and no one else did. So I think he's learning, trying to find it still. But I think he had a good performance this game.
Aston Villa, they've moved themselves up to 4th spot
Nuts.
in the Premier
They're-
League.
What they like 4 points off top? 5?
Yeah, something like that. In this calendar year, they've got the most points collected in the Premier League behind the 3rd most behind Arsenal and Man City.
That is nuts.
They're only 2 points behind Arsenal and 1 point behind Man City
That is nuts.
in points collected in 2023, which is nuts. The job Unai Emery is doing, mental. Can they stick it out and get Champions League football? Because we were talking about how the league's fallen off, like some of the big dogs have fallen off.
The problem
That's
is
the perfect
though, like,
pathway from Aston Villa.
the main thing is like consistency, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are, mate. They are 2 points off top. They're joined on points with Liverpool and Man City are on 29 and Arsenal on 30.
Jeez.
That is nuts. I mean,
We've got Aston Villa in a couple of weeks.
if they keep up the consistency, yeah. I mean, have they played City yet?
No.
They haven't played City.
I haven't played us.
No.
Have they played Liverpool?
Yeah, I think they have, haven't they? I can't remember now. But they played Spurs. They picked up 3 points away at Spurs, right?
Yeah.
They played Newcastle.
You pick up 3 points away from Spurs. That is literally the game we're talking about.
they smashed Brighton.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
So,
And they played Newcastle, but they lost.
oh, that was it.
At the
Yeah,
start of the season.
yeah. They're doing it. They are doing it.
They are doing it. When you've got someone in Ollie
they've been
Watkins,
consistent for over a year.
so good.
So yeah, there's no reason they can't do it. We saw Newcastle do it. The problem is like they've got Newcastle to fend off. They've got even Man United. They're not as, but they still will be there.
Yeah, we'll touch on Man United after this because
they've got
they're
Brighton.
interested.
If Brighton sort of pick it up
Brighton
again.
stink a little bit. But what I like about Aston Villa is they've just got like solidity everywhere. Their back line, so good. Martinez, so good. They got Diego Carlos in now that we've been talking about for a while. Ezri Konsa's so good.
Douglas Luiz.
And then you move forward. Douglas Luiz, one of the best midfielders in the Premier League.
Liverpool.
Yeah, maybe. Kamara alongside him, so good. And then you've got John McGinn, so good. Diaby had a bit of a stinker this game, but we won't talk about that. And then Ollie Watkins, another stat I'll drop on you. Under Unai Emery, he's got 30 goal involvements in 37 games, which is naughty.
That's nuts.
One of the most informed strikers in the Premier League.
Brother, just get him at left wing.
Yeah.
Just tell him you don't have to do anything. Just score goals, and he will. He's so good.
He is good.
If you have honestly, England's best front three at the minute is Ollie Watkins on the left, Haaland, Kane in the middle, and then Saka on the right.
Jeez.
Honestly, that's cook. That will cook any defence.
Cook. No, yeah, I like Aston Villa a lot, and I think if they can keep hold of their best players, I know Arsenal were looking at Douglas Luiz, like you said, Liverpool could be looking at him. If they can keep hold of him, I assume
How many
teams.
DMs do you want? You play Rice, Party, and Douglas Luiz.
Party's gone, mate. He is.
Yeah.
Gone. So yeah, if they can keep their best players, I'm assuming someone will come in for Ollie Watkins. I'm assuming someone will come in for.
You'd be surprised, though.
Ezri Konsa or something, or
You'd
Martinez.
be surprised. I mean, if they're fourth and they've got a good chance of winning a European trophy.
Yeah, it's true.
But
if they can get through Jan, keep all their good players, maybe, do they even need to add maybe like a creative midfielder? But even that, I don't even think they need that massively.
Maybe just more depth.
Yeah.
I mean,
they've got players like Zaniolo that's good. Leon Bailey came in, had a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they could keep pushing. The only thing is, they got Europe. If they can manage both, I don't see why they...
I think they're a bit blessed as well, because Ollie Watkins obviously would be a good big target, but the fact that a lot of teams could be sniffing around Ivan Toney.
Yeah, and Ollie Watkins just signed a new contract as well.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If they're going to lose him, that's 100 mil.
I think as well, you'd be surprised, like a lot of players that now are the risk of moving to a big team. Like Ollie Watkins is going to be on like 200 grand a week at Aston Villa.
Yeah, probably.
He knows it's going well. He's in the English squad.
Yeah, he'd be.
Why take the risk yet?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Maybe wait until the summer anyway. But
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's
good times for Aston Villa.
They are flying. All right, let's before we wrap it up, let's touch on Everton and Man United. Everton over the international break had some terrible news. A 10-point deduction, which left them, what is it, second bottom?
Second bottom. They lost. I saw this. So they're on 4 points now. They lost 10 points, which is pretty much every away point they've picked up this season. They've lost.
Yeah.
Down to 19th place. It's the first time ever there's been a points deduction in the Premier League. Not looking good for Everton.
I mean, if Everton get 10 points deducted for like, what was it, one charge?
One
Man
charge.
City are running.
Yeah, mate, Man City, I want to see them in the Isthmian South. Or the Isthmian North, whatever the fuck it's called. But, we'll talk about the game. Man United 3, Everton 0. On paper, it looks like Man United dominated the game for the first time ever, because we say on the pod, we never see them dominate a game. Wasn't the case. I think it was a bit of a 50-50. I think Everton had a higher XG in the game. But that probably comes from the fact that Garnacho scored one of the lowest XG goals probably ever in the world. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure he's done the rounds on Twitter and you've seen it. But he scored, in my opinion, the best Premier League goal ever.
Oh.
He done it. In the 3rd minute of the game. Fans probably weren't even in their seats. They're probably coming back with their Bovril still.
Yeah, it is. It is nuts.
It's a nuts
goal. It is
goal.
Nuts. It depends what you look for in
they're
a goal.
comparing it to like Rooney's. Rooney is better than Rooney's.
Yeah, but Rooney's in a Manchester derby.
Yeah, but this is
but
like...
it depends what you're like.
Is
it
like
the
6
best
yards
like
out.
technical goal ever? Is it the best? Is it the most important goal ever? No.
No.
Is it... So like, I don't know. It is
just
it is
aesthetically,
an amazing goal.
It's so good. He's so far out. Like, you don't score bicycle kicks from the edge of the box.
Is it better than Ronaldo's
Yeah.
against Juve?
Yeah. In my opinion.
Yeah, but that was Champions League final.
This was against
Technically-
Everton after a 10-point deduction in the first minute. No, I'm joking. I
Comes
just
with a
think
shin
it's so
though,
good.
doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a shinny one, but top bins, mate.
It is good.
Against Jordan Pickford, best keeper in the world.
That's true. Pickford don't concede goals.
No. It probably helps he's got a little T-Rex arm.
Yeah, if it's Alisson, he gets
Exactly. But yeah, let us know where you stand on the Garnacho goal. Is it the best goal the Premier League has ever seen? If not, put in the comments what you think the best Premier League goal ever is. Because we did like a section on the podcast a while ago where we did our underrated Premier League goals, and we did yours was it was a QPR.
Patson,
yeah,
Kajimi.
No, we did Kajimi as one
Did
of them.
I do Matty Phillips?
Matty Phillips.
Yeah,
and I did
banger.
And I did Andros Townsend against Man City for.
Oh, I think it's Andrew Townsend for QPR versus Sunderland.
No.
That was a good call.
So let us know.
Oh, mate, Zamora versus West Brom. He runs down the wing and just left foot.
Well, it's like the Peter Crouch one where he like takes it on his knee and then fucking disgusting volley. But
mate, what about the Dele Alli one?
I don't even think that's that good.
Oh, okay.
That's like a shit.
Did you see the Donny who was like it was like the clip of Maradona doing like the warm up with the football, and he was like, oh yeah, I mean the guy tweeted that and was like, oh, this is why no one could tell me that Messi was ever better than Maradona, and then someone replied with being like, oh yeah, I could do that. And he was like, go on then. So he did. He recorded himself doing the entire like Maradona routine, and the guy was just like, fair play. Is that CFC Janty guy, whatever his name?
Oh
is?
yeah, okay.
Yeah, he was the one that tweeted it. It was mad. It was good.
Oh come on, yeah, I'll go have a look at that. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you think the best Premier League goal ever is. Also, 18-year-old or is it 17-year-old? I think it's 18. Kobe Minu in centre mid for Man United looks like a baller, mate.
He's been touted for a while now, only, but
he looks good. Yeah, him and McTominay. I don't know about McTominay as the centre mid.
I like McTominay, man. I don't think he's that bad.
But yeah, Minu was really good. So calm on the ball for an 18-year-old on his like Premier League debut against Everton, which is like a bit of a rowdy team, like bit of a ding-dong affair, as they say. Yeah, it was a good game, and Minu was excellent. Everton, will they avoid the drop? I don't know. They've got too much quality, I think.
I think they're fortunate that Burnley and
is so bad,
and Sheffield United are really bad. Luton, who picked up 3 points
first
at home to Palace,
home win of the season.
Palace, who lost Eberechi Eze,
again,
who I don't think he's going to be out for long. I think it was a minor one.
Well, that's good.
He walked out, I think.
Yeah.
Decore, on the other hand, limping out on the crutches and a boot. Bad times for Crystal Palace. But positive note for Palace. At least they're back. Getting on the score sheet.
Fucking dirty goal.
He's good, mate.
Yeah.
He's tasty. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
Nah, sponsor us for our moustaches. Oh, we did our 5k giveaway. Shout out the guy that won it. There will be more giveaways down the line. Close to 10k. So maybe when we hit 10k. So yeah, subscribe. Follow us on socials. Leave a comment what your best Premier League goal ever is. Because we're intrigued to know.
And we'll come for you. But yeah, guys, if you want to get involved and sponsor our Movember Tash growing extravaganza, just
this is probably the last time you'll see them in a pod, because
that's true. We'll do
I don't know.
We'll do a final post before and after, and we'll get your opinions on it. But yeah, if you do want to sponsor us, everything you do need to do that is down below. And if you don't want to, or you can't sponsor us for whatever reason, all you want to do is just give it a little share. Get the message out there. It's just as important as raising money, is getting the message out there, making sure that people know that they're not alone, that they can reach out to their mates or to strangers or whatever, and also check your bum hole and your balls and stuff.
Yeah,
that's
because it's not just about men's mental health; it's about men's physical health.
Yes, I think it's prostate.
Yeah, awareness. Prostate. So yeah, check out your mate's prostate if you want.
Yeah, it's all for a good cause. So if you want to throw a little bit of change into the pot, a couple quid.
£500 is our aim. So I said 1,000, but that's a bit ballsy. So yeah, 500.
Oh mate. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. We BoreDraw episode number 72.
We're back
and we're live.